But they're the Cowboys.
Go ahead. All right, I'll say like I was gonna say like a B or B plus. You guys are gonna go higher?
Well, I understand the BB plus too, though.
Again, it's one of those teams that the roster's already very good, right? So like, I love the Gilmore and Brandon Cook stuff.
No, those were essential moves.
And I will factor in getting rid of Zeke. I think that was a huge plus. I'm gonna be honest.
Minus the fact that they hurt Dak's feelings.
Yeah, probably.
They did. No, I know they did, but like regardless.
Yeah, dude, that Hard Knock stuff was kind of weird. They were like super close.
Yeah.
Like a little like, I don't know. Zeke was like getting all giddy to give him a birthday present. And it was like, you could be boys with someone, but it was just like kind of weird. I don't know.
I forgot the first rule of the NFL. I cannot name, what's like a quarterback running back duo that sticks together the whole career?
I don't think that exists anymore.
You know,
It's not a thing.
They should have known. No, yeah, but yeah, I'm thinking, I like B plus right here.
What were you going to say, honestly?
I would have said A just because I feel like Brandon Cooks and Gilmore, it's like they just were 2 splashes. And it's like if you're a good team and you make 2 splashes, I almost feel like that's means for the A. But that's also just because you said, though, the roster's already so good.
Yeah, I mean, we can give them an A.
I think it's for the fact that it's the Cowboys. The NFC sucks. They can really do it.
Think about it. They got Gilmore for 2 fifths and a conditional 6th. They got those 2
No, I
players.
think Gilmore's going to snap.
Yeah, I think so. And they got Diggs there too.
I was going to say,
Micah Parsons.
You don't have to put him in front of the best receiver on the field. You can go put him in front of the second best one and be like, Trayvon's got him. You can go, and he's going to lock up the second best receiver on the field. I don't know if he's anymore with his age, if he could lock up the best. He had definitely lock up the second best. So fire move. All right, I got the Giants here. Giants are one of those teams in a weird position. But I think I look at their offseason and I say the least I can give him is a B plus. And this is you're either someone who hates the Daniel Jones signing and you like it. I was preaching for it where it's like the Giants, that would be one of those grass isn't always greener moves. You finally are winning games. The man had barely any receivers and was making it work. You got to pay him. And maybe not. They gave him a lot of money, but this is a new era of football where quarterbacks are taking up a big part of salary cap. If he plays really good for you, it's not a bad deal. Re-signing Saquon. Or not re-signing, but getting that man back on contract for the year on the franchise, huge. Paris Campbell, love that. Jamison Crowder, love that. Darius Slayton, love it. Darren Waller, love it. Nunez Roches, love it. Bobby Okereke, love it. Like, Amari Oruwariye, it's one of those, it could pan out, it could look terrible. But they all have, every move they made almost has potential. And that's the most important thing. Jerry Davis never panned out in Detroit, but he feels he's got a good chance to pan out in New York too. So it's like, I like a lot of the moves they made.
Yeah, I mean, so my stance on the Daniel Jones stuff is that no one knows what goes on inside their building. It was Daniel Jones' first year with Dable, and he played relatively well for all things considered. Like, his stats maybe not there, but they won football games, and he looked better than he did in past years. And if the Giants truly like are looking at it and they're like, we think Daniel Jones is going to be better, then like, I don't hate it by any means. I don't think they should be clowned for it necessarily at all. They made the playoffs with him and he looked fine.
Do you think they could have got Daniel Jones cheaper if they waited till after Jimmy G and Geno Smith signed?
I don't know.
I feel like they could have got him for like maybe $5 million less a year.
Yeah, maybe. It's just he's so young.
Yeah.
Those guys are old. You know what I mean? He's only 25.
That's the thing would make it tough is I'm sure him and his agent would be like, you know, they'd be very adamant on like, but this is his first big deal. Like, you got to let him at least show you.
And that's why I disagreed, Hunter, just because it seemed like for like a month or two straight, him and his agent were very adamant about their stance and how much money it was going to cost. Like, they did not back down at all.
I think when I think about it, it's like, I think I give Daniel Jones a lot of a boost per se, because really, if Richie James is your number one for like 90% of the year, not that, you know, Giants fans love him, you know, love some Richie James, but as a number one, it's just not really the move. And again, he made it work well enough. They won a playoff game with Richie James as their number one receiver. That takes talent to do as your quarter. You know, you got to be able to get the ball where it needs to be. You got to be able to read the field correctly for a whole game. He did that. He has enough where it warrants paying him this contract, in my opinion.
I blanked on the guy's name, but Hodgins was snapping for them too.
Isaiah?
Yeah.
No.
So I don't know if they get some legit weapons. Like, bro, can you imagine if and I know this sounds weird to say, but like if they got like a D-Hop, like, do you think Daniel Jones' ceiling goes up a ton?
He's never had that guy.
I don't know. I don't know because I've not seen it, and I am not sold on the Daniel Jones project. I'm open to like the growth,
Sure.
but like I'm not sold that like if you get him that number one, it's gonna make or break him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Here's my thing.
No, that's fair.
To that point, last thing we can move on from the Giants, or if you have something to say too, but I think it's kind of the point, and I'm sure people have said this before. I'm not the first probably, but if I am, shouts to me. But I feel like we're kind of getting to that range where you can almost compare like Daniel Jones probably like how his career arc will go to like someone very close of like a Kirk Cousins. Like, yeah he's very consistent. He's good. He might not push you over the edge though.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so tough. There's a lot of guys in the league like that. Do you pay the guy that's just going to keep you floating and give you a 10%, 1% chance to win it? Or do you push through that era and say, I'm going to give myself 0% chance in this era, but it's tank till I get the guy that gives me the 40, 30, 50% chance like a Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Aaron Rodgers, whatever. Even, obviously my math is wrong. You get my point though. It gives you a much bigger chance than the 1-2% where you're like, maybe if he plays perfect.
I'm going to be honest. I battle with this so often. I am a firm believer, and it's going against everything I just said about Daniel Jones, that if you do not have the guy that you believe can win a Super Bowl, it's like, what are you doing? Because you need that elite quarterback. And it's like,
I just think also this like hamstrings you. Because like your roster is only going to get better the next 2 years. And if you get to that point where Daniel Jones is not the guy, how low are you about to be in the draft to get a top guy?
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
No, they're either gonna be in position where they have to make a big trade up in the future,
and that's what happened with Trey Lance. The roster was there, they traded up 3 firsts, and he ended up. Jury's still out, but I don't think his job is there anymore. At least in San Francisco.
That's when we kind of like we've been saying when the whole thing was happening, like that's what made it such a weird thing. And yeah, no, it's a good comparison. I think the Giants are in a very weird position. Yeah, there's no, like I would say, it's one of those black and white things. Like, it's really going to look back and be like, perfect, they needed to do that. Or it's like, yeah, that set them back 4 years.
Yeah. So what are we going to give them?
I'm good with I think B.
I think B too. I think they could have done more at receiver, but I think Darren
Now that you
Waller
said it, I
was
think we should
nice.
go B because the Daniel Jones thing just might not be it.
Yeah.
I was thinking A at first, but then I'm like, wait, Daniel Jones is just not a sure thing though.
Although,
but I'm so in the middle.
okay,
It's
well,
like,
just last thing real quick. They would have been fucked at quarterback if they did not resign Daniel Jones. Like, let's just call it what it is. For the next year at least, they retained Saquon, huge plus. And then, like, Bobby Okereke, good signing. Like, you touched on the other defensive guys. Like, I think all things considered, it was pretty solid.
well, and also, I think we haven't even said this too. Last thing for the Giants, we get a lot of time. But, like, it's almost one of those situations too, though, where it's like they were going through the mud for all these years to get back to the playoffs, to get back to being a winning team. And then the 1 year you finally get there, then you're like, well, the guy who got us back, we're going to kick him to the curb. We're going to go through the 3-4 years of getting good again. The fan base is like, what the fuck is this? Like, we finally did good and you're going to, it's like, just from the fans' perspective, if you suck again next year after you kick the guy out that was your good, your good quarterback, and especially in New York, the media and everything, I think they could kind of put themselves in the safe position. Because if you didn't, and then you sucked, and you didn't get the guy, then everyone would be like, why didn't we pay Daniel Jones?
Yeah. I think they almost had to. Okay, Eagles.
I have very mixed feelings about their offseason.
They lost some key guys, but they retained some good guys still. And then, I don't know. I'd say like C minus territory.
Yeah, I think Greedy puts them into that C territory. Because
Edmonds was a good signing too.
No, that was actually a very underrated one too. I think Greedy Williams, Terrell Edmonds, very underrated signings. But other than that, yeah, you can put Terrell in the box up top. Yeah, I like that for the way they play defense too. A very nice signing. And like I said, and Justin Evans too. Love that. Yeah, they got they kind of did plug and play the DBs in this. So it's I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think C's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely lost more than they gained, but they were in a tough spot. They would have had to dish. They couldn't. They literally could not dish out all that money.
They couldn't. And like I was saying to Hunter the other day too, though, I think this will be one of those years where it kind of shows it. Howie Roseman's one of those guys where it's like, if you think you're worth, like more than you're worth, I'm going to show you that you're not and replace you with a guy for cheaper kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they're doing with Rashad Penny. It's exactly what they're doing with Greedy, with Terrell, with Justin. Literally all of them are replacing someone that went to another place for cheaper. But you know what I'm saying? He went to another place more expensive and they're coming in for cheaper. And they probably will get the same production out of them. So with that said, I'm thinking I'm leaning towards C+ now.
That's fair.
Those depth signings are really good depth. They lost a lot of big names. When you combine the two things like that, I feel like you got to put him in that
And
C+.
I mean, honestly, Howie's been fielding a good team the last several years now, and they made a Super Bowl run. So, like, I almost, like, just trust him at this point, if that makes sense.
No, he went through that phase with us where he was losing our trust, but then he showed us what the vision was. I trust him.
Yeah. All right, Washington Commanders.
Weird-ass offseason, to be honest.
I
I like the Wiley signing. I don't know if a lot of people even said that if they liked it, but I personally, I get it. I like the Wiley signing for them, especially after how he played in the Super Bowl. Like I get that one.
I'm just gonna keep saying until you give a grade because I don't know what to say.
I'm thinking like D- though. If we're being honest, Darren
I
Payne
wanted
gives
to
them
say
like
a D, but I didn't.
Yeah, no, Darren Payne gives them above an F. But okay, let's consider all the things going on with the Commanders. They're in the middle of literally figuring out a completely new ownership group. They have no identity to the team besides that they have a good D line.
Sam Howell.
Jacoby too.
And this free
What a
agency
quarterback
class
battle.
gave no stability to anything that we wondered about the Commanders. So when you consider all those together, they have to get a D. Because the one thing that gives them a letter grade is the Darren Payne. In my opinion. And Andrew Wiley. I like those two. Everyone else, it's kind of like, I just don't see the vision necessarily, especially with the state of the team.
Yeah, I'm cool. Cool with that.
Sorry, Commanders, but I think they would agree with us, Commanders fans. It's just been a really rough go of it these past couple of years.
I think Hunter should do this one.
Low key.
What, the Bears?
Yeah.
All right. I have been a Bears supporter or Poles supporter since he got hired. I've trusted the process. I've realized that like our old GMs have done the same thing over and over again. They've just spent money when they didn't need to spend money. They're trying to get names in there. They are desperate GMs. And Poles came in. He said, "This is a plan. This is what I'm going to stick to." He's been very rigid in his system, and I think it has rewarded him. Now, a lot of people are going to say, "Well, you're talked about not paying non-premium positions, and then you go out in free agency, and the first two big deals you do are," I mean, I wouldn't consider TJ Edwards a big deal. I think he actually got him on a discount, but are signing those linebacker positions. Okay, but you also have to understand your head coach, who's the defensive head coach, has a system that he knows works. He wants to go get his guys, and also you're getting Edwards and Edmonds for $24 million. Compared to about $20 million with Roquan, and you got draft picks out of it. Plus, Roquan didn't even want to be here. The way he outed the organization, I think the Bears. I will say I will maybe. I won't go crazy and give him an A. I'll give him a B plus, like not enough for an A-. I actually really do like the Nate Davis signing. I like Donta Foreman.
Tunyon too.
I like Tunyon.
Tunyon's a huge signing.
Everything that Poles has done has stuck to what he said, and I'm more willing to believe in a GM who sticks to exactly what they say compared to someone who wavers. Because I don't think, like I said, like when people say like, "Oh, you gave him to a non-premium position," you have the money. You have to spend it. Like, and my thing is, he's paying the best players available. He's not paying like guys who are above average at their position, like great money, which is I'm completely fine with. So yeah, I mean, I would give them like a B plus, just because I would like to see them shore up the line a little bit more. And then also, yeah, I think you got to get another cornerback in there. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon. Who's their third? Vildor right now.
Still Vildor.
Yeah, I think
I would have liked for them to sign like a legitimate corner.
Yeah.
Or trade for one.
I still think there's cap casualty stuff that can come.
Yeah. I just think if Kyler could transition to be a slot corner, I think their defense would take a huge step forward. And if I'm not mistaken, the Bears play a lot of nickel too. So like, I think that would have been a huge move for them.
Well, yeah, and when you bring in Jack Sanborn as like your third linebacker, I mean, like TJ Edwards is undrafted, and they played together at Wisconsin. Why can't Sanborn have that growth like a TJ Edwards, especially because he's playing under these two great linebackers? He's just going to learn more.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, like, to your point about the non-premium positions, for a lot of teams, that would be a huge thing, but like where you don't spend that. But like for the Bears, we look at their defense last year in that Allen Williams system. What was killing the defense? Linebacker play. What did they do? They went 2+ starters at the position. You need to do it. Tremaine Edmonds is going to play great in that 4-3. And one thing I was thinking, though, this is the only thing I think that the Bears really whiffed on this offseason.
D-line?
Not even that. Bears fan, because you guys probably won't agree with this, but it's just the way I'm going to explain how I feel this way too. I think not getting Jalen Ramsey for what they were selling him for at this point in his career, you could have got an alpha DB, alpha personality, which I feel like, does the Bears have that on defense?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I guess, it's like Tremaine maybe, or it's like they would have gotten that, you know, like real and play in the cold weather. I feel like Jalen Ramsey would have fit here really well. Like bring
he would
that.
have been perfect for the Bears.
He hit shit.
Bro, I'm not kidding.
He would give him some motivation.
I was preaching that so hard in like all my group chats with friends and stuff. I was like, go get Jalen Ramsey. Why not? And I would just send pictures of him and say, you're a Bear.
Yep. No, like chip on his shoulder type thing where he.
The only thing though,
it goes against Pole's philosophy of like giving up draft capital.
Yeah. And I also,
that makes sense.
He might start to do that later, but right off the rip, he's not going to.
No, not in the first 2 years of not 2-3 years of the rebuild.
Let me tell you this. This is just my thing. Is if I told you last year that at the end of the next season, you guys could trade a 3rd round pick
right away
and your second string tight end for Jalen Ramsey. You'd be like, literally, that's
right away.
I'll give you, that'd be like you telling me right now, the Bears could, or the Saints could have Tre'Davious White for your 3rd round pick next year. I'd be literally take it. Like, even if Tre'Davious White had a down year, take it.
Well, there's
also, you know what I mean? It's like,
I was just going to say, there's a lot of, and you'd like to think that the NFL GMs have a good understanding of the market for players, but it's just like, there's so many trades that happen and you're just like, why could we have not have done that?
It makes you think like, why is my GM not pick the phone up
Amari
more?
Cooper for a 5th? Why could we have not have done that? You know what I mean? I'm not saying Bears specifically, like teams in general. I feel like fans are almost shocked at what some of these players are going for.
Yeah.
And I understand the cap stuff. Like you take on a certain percentage of the contract, it's a higher or lower draft pick, etc. But like, I don't know.
Another thing about Poles though, is you look at all the free agent signings, I don't think anyone's been over the age of 27.
Yeah. No,
like every player they've signed has fit his profile exactly what he said. He has not budged. And that's why I will ride with whatever he's doing right now, because he's proven that he's sticking to a very rigid system. And if you don't fit the system, he's not going to take a chance on you.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. I get it. But it's just like, you know, I've always said this. My thing is, especially on defense, when you get a really good unit together, you need at least one really stout veteran that keeps everybody in line.
I think Eddie Jackson can be that guy though.
Yeah, honestly, no, you're right.
I have to agree with Dobbs on this though too, because if I'm not mistaken, the 2018 Bears were in the same boat where there was like all of our players are under the age of 27, and it's like you need a good balance,
almost like a Super Bowl champion veteran. And that's exactly what Jalen. That's what I mean. When in the playoff games, you got him like, we're fine. I've been here.
But
we're good.
That's where I'll disagree though, because when you're talking about like that 2018 team, like they were competing for like a deep playoff run, a Super Bowl, possibly. We're not competing for that this year.
Yeah.
So the way I'm looking at it is like
so weak.
But I don't even want to do that this year. Like I would be okay with losing 1st round playoff. Like I want to make the playoffs, but at the same time, I know we're not supposed to be competing, and you can grow together as a team, because if you look at some of the longer term pieces they have, they're on the books for next 2-3 years. You know?
Yeah. And just real quick too, like I've been preaching that a ton, and I think Poles is in it for the long haul. He's not interested in creating like flipping it and turning it around really quickly. Like he genuinely wants to build a good roster and a good team for the next like 5 to 10 years. And that's like where his interest is. So I understand it completely. It's just like, yeah, I don't know.
Just wish he'd be a little more aggressive with the vets.
It's just like some things. Yeah. Cause like you need to show the young players how to play too. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Also,
that's why I think you get an older coach though, like a Eberflus.
Yeah,
that's true. No, he definitely is perfect for the young guys. So, all right, so the Bears getting a B+?
B+.
B+. Ooh, this is gonna be a fun one. Did you do the Bears or did I do the Bears? I think you.
I did the Bears.
We just kicked it over to him.
All right, so
I don't even
think-
remember.
I think this leaves you with the Lions then.
Cool. I'm cool with it. I would say like a B plus.
Minus the DeMonte deal. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't get what they were doing there. Like we had the greatest
scared.
culture guy who just scored the leading touchdown.
I think they're scared.
What, like Jamal getting injured?
No, not Jamal.
Swift.
Yeah, Swift.
I think Monty was literally just like a plug and play of like what Williams was.
That's why I'm confused though, because didn't we sign Williams for cheaper than they signed?
They did, yeah. You guys did.
So that's why I'm getting confused.
But I think that they're 3-year deal too. They're gonna be like Swift and Monty are gonna be running backs for the next like 2 to 3 years.
That is a duo. They got the power back.
I don't think Jamal Williams could be a full-time back like Monty could.
No, that's
so
true.
if Swift does get hurt, like you have Monty there and you're not really going to miss a beat. You know what I mean?
No, that's a good way to look at it.
He's not as explosive as Swift by any means, but I guess that is how I took it. But
That's a good way to look at it.
I love Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signing. Mosley was solid. Cameron Sutton was solid.
Mosley, I think, is going to be a really nice signing.
Yeah. I think B plus was a little generous because they didn't do a whole lot.
We can move him down to B if you want. I think moving him down to B might be the move.
Fine, yeah. I think they're also going to build a lot through this draft still too, so that's where they're going to make some moves.
Yeah, their report card will go up around draft time, but for now, I think a B is perfect for him. We're signing Michael Badley too, though. Money Badger. It's a solid little move. He found his home in Detroit.
The funny thing is I would have given them an A.
Really?
I think they had probably the best offseason out of anybody.
Swear.
Listen, this is why. They shored up the secondary so they don't have to force it at 6. They added Monty to the offense, who I think is a great offensive weapon. Their line, O-line, they didn't need to touch. Imagine they go Jalen Carter at 6. Who wants to play that defense?
Yeah.
I would literally go buy the jersey.
And then you will get a corner, or you get a corner or a linebacker at 18.
I think they're set on corner.
But I'm saying like, because Cam Sutton was what, a 3-year deal?
And a lot of teams are playing dime defense a lot now. I mean, if getting 4 corners on the field is like, it's pretty normal.
I'm just saying, like, imagine you get like a guy you have under contract for the next 5 years at cornerback and you develop him.
No, yeah, like that's the thing is, then you can kind of
make
premium
position.
You can make Sutton or Mosley a rotational guy at that point, and it's like at this point of their career, you never know. That's sometimes guys come off a big year and they turn into a rotational guy. You never know.
Yeah.
So on to the Packers next. So we'll go.
Can I say one more thing about the Lions?
Let's give the Lions a B plus to finish because I think then we'll kind of combine our.
Back to B plus. I'm cool with that. I just think that they need to get like one more legit receiver.
No, yeah, I
love Amon-Ra, and I think Jameson can definitely come into his own. I just think they need one more, like a little bit more solid than Josh Reynolds and
exactly.
DJ Chark's now wherever he just signed.
It's like we're struggling to think over here because
DJ Chark went to. I know. I just saw.
He
yesterday.
He came to the Panthers because they're.
Yeah,
he went to the
Panthers.
So like, you know what I mean? Like if you had Amon-Ra, Jameson, and like, I don't even know, just someone a little bit better.
That would have been a great spot for Brandon Cooks.
Or hear me out.
I was going to say
been a great spot for Brian.
I was going to say Cortland Sutton. Okay. I think that'd be a nice little addition to the team too.
Low key. Brian Edwards would have been nice. You'd have been cheesing.
Dude, I would cheese anywhere he goes. Brian. I would cheese anywhere he goes. All right, Packers.
All right, Packers. I'm going to just, oh my Lord.
You can say it.
There's just no 2 ways about it. And again, not that they didn't have to do this, but this offseason is enough. They know it is. You're losing the best guy you've ever had on the franchise. That's just, and they didn't do anything else. So let's just put it together. They're losing the greatest player in franchise history, and they didn't do anything. That's enough. Actually, I don't even think there's any really much more to say about it. The Packers are going to be going through the first transitional period in the last, 16 years? And I do think, I don't think it's going to sound bad because this is going to be like, why are you giving the offseason enough? I don't think they're going to necessarily miss that much of a beat because I think Jordan Love still is going to be a great quarterback. I'm one of the people who's on the radar saying, I don't care. I know you guys are sick.
No.
I think Jordan Love will be just fine.
Not allowed.
He won't be Aaron Rodgers, but I think he'll be a very nice plug for what the Packers fans are expecting. I think he's surprised a lot of people. But regardless, I mean, this is just, I'll say this. Keyshawn Nixon, re-signing him, really good. They need to do that. Love him. Very underrated player in the
Yeah,
league.
but it's like,
But other than that,
it's like your biggest signing of the offseason was a special team.
well, hold on. All pro special team.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what I mean?
That's
it's
an
just
F.
like,
It is. This might be the biggest F of the offseason because they didn't. Yeah, they. You know, I get it. Again, they had to do it, but sometimes what you have to do still sucks, and that's exactly what this is. They had to do it. It sucks, and therefore they get an F. Sorry, Packers, but actually, not sorry. It's kind of funny.
it's hysterical. I love it.
This next one's not so funny though because these motherfuckers keep putting together good teams, and it just makes me sick.
Why
Sorry,
does it
Mike.
make you sick?
It's a healthy rivalry. The Vikings fans know. I don't really hate them, but when it's Sunday and we're playing each other, we have to hate each other that day. That's just the same. That's the Saints and the Vikings.
Oh yeah, I forgot about all the yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
so-
sense. Yeah,
Right?
sure.
Like, we kind of have to.
All right. I mean, like,
They did. I think they did a lot of good things.
yeah, they did.
The Vikings?
They keep doing good stuff.
I was kind of iffy on their offseason.
I think. But
I mean,
I think they got Marcus Davenport for a criminal undersell. Man, it's just because he's his injury concern. But if he can stay healthy all year for the Vikings fans, they'll be like, how do we get him for $13 million? And then you get him on another. Like, I think it was a great signing. Not even just biased. Let that man stay healthy. He's a great edge. And then I love CJ Ham. It's a little signing, but like I love CJ Ham. He's a good fullback. Get that man back on
love it.
contract. Love CJ Ham. You know, I love Alexander Madison. You know, I've always said it's
Yeah.
really like having Dalvin Cook 1.5 back there. Let's see. And you got it. They had to resign Garrett Bradbury. Love that. And Byron Murphy too. That's a nice like little plug.
yeah, I think
I like
Byron Murphy's
Murphy.
nice. I mean, C plus, B minus.
I did
I
not like the Josh Oliver signing.
that one
at
was
all.
just like, no, I don't know what his agent said to them. Like he carries the magic potion at tight end or something. I don't
I
like.
just peeped it. 3 years, 21 mil.
It's $7 million a year for a blocking tight end.
That's the thing, and it's not like he's an extra. It's not like he's an old lineman out there. He's not sitting pancakes every play. I don't know. Yeah, that one minus that. I think I'll give him a. I think B minus is where I like him.
Yeah. I also want to say real quick, I think that KJ Osborne is going to be more than a fine number 2.
Oh no, we love KJ.
And I think letting go of Thielen was the right move. It's kind of sad for them.
Yeah, he had to go.
Yeah, but it was the right move for sure.
He's a number 1 in Carolina now.
I think Shark will be the number one.
Yeah, probably now.
I think he's much better than Thielen's like a shell.
I don't
of
think they're going to
himself.
have like,
a set. No,
I don't think it's
I-
going to be
yeah,
defined at all. Thielen could go off a game and then DJ Chark could.
no, it's true.
I honestly think the Vikings could draft a number 2 receiver at the end of the first round.
The Vikings.
Yeah, that's what I meant. If I don't know
Low
what I
key,
said.
someone like Jordan Addison still sitting there, like that could be crazy.
Zay Flowers.
So I'll say Zay.
Although, do you think they're going to roll out Rieger now? Give him a
Maybe.
shot.
I saw a
They
mock
could.
draft.
I really don't hate. I know I said it before. Jetta's, Osborne, and Rieger isn't the worst thing in the world.
Especially, and if Rieger's your 4th receiver too, shit, that still works just as fine.
I saw
Who would their 3B?
Well, who are they draft? That's what I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft had them taking Hendon Hooker in the first round. I could see it.
totally
I've been
see it.
seeing Hendon Hooker mocked earlier and earlier the more mocks I see.
Well, you know you're getting an intelligent quarterback with him. And
Yeah.
I think for someone like the Vikings, they're like, shit, I need a guy who can just get the ball to where it needs to be to Jay Jettis and stuff.
Yeah.
Now that you're saying it, I mean, I could definitely see it. Kind of crazy.
All right, we're going down to Atlanta. Is it my turn or your turn?
I think, unfortunately, it's my turn, but don't worry. I'm not gonna no, screw it. You know, it's yours. We'll just trade off.
Okay,
I like that.
Cool. All right. So I think keeping McGarry was good. Keeping Lindstrom was good. David Anyamata. Did I say that right?
Yeah, no, you
Sorry.
did.
I'm so sorry.
It's fire. They went crazy. That's why they went crazy. There's just no two ways about it. Caden Ellis too is a mason. I'll
Caden
tell you,
Ellis,
he's an
good signing.
underrated.
Jesse Bates. Good
They
signing.
killed it.
Kind of expensive contract, but Jesse Bates is incredible. So not incredible. He's a very good safety. I think all things considered, this was a pretty successful offseason for them.
I think they killed it.
I
Which
think they
hurts
killed it
to
too.
say.
I was gonna
but
say A minus.
their GM's getting their shit together.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with the quarterback position though.
I
Do you
can
think they
almost see
signed
them.
Heineke to like start?
I feel like they're going to start Ritter, and that's almost how I think they look at it like we want to, I think that they're like, from their perspective, they're like, we want to make some noise this year. Like,
Yeah.
we've sucked so long. The fans are starting to feel it. The ticket sales go down. We got to make noise this year. So I think that's almost like Heineke's an insurance policy, whereas it's like the offense is getting good enough now. We got enough weapons that if Ritter's not playing good, at least I can know Heineke will step in and win me every other game.
The way I see the Ritter thing is like they're not going to get a quarterback at 8, most likely. I don't know, unless someone slides.
If Richie slides, though,
that would be
you could see them pull the trigger.
Raw.
Or Levis.
Yeah, if either of them slide, I just think like anyone you get in the second or third round at a quarterback is going to be like an equivalent to what you have in Ritter. So it's kind of just like, I just feel like they didn't really need to make a splash unless they want to go get Lamar.
Well, unless Hendon slips too, that's the only one where maybe the day 2, or like they could get a snag at day 2. But I agree. Yeah, but I'd say all in all, I think the Falcons killed it.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
So yeah, I would think we're going to go A-.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
A- for the Falcons. All right, and then for the Panthers, I think they were one of those like weird off seasons.
I actually think they had a really good offseason. I
I
don't
was
like the
gonna say,
Miles
like-
Sanders deal, but
Yeah, the Miles Sanders deal was one where I'm like kind of scratching my head. I get it. I guess it only guaranteed him $13 million. I like the DJ. We like the DJ Chark deal. I like the Hayden Hurst deal too, though. Hayden Hurst, good deal.
I don't hate the Thielen one either.
And
I'm
the
gonna be honest.
Bradley Bozeman deal's good too. They got him for a good price.
they just got a lot of like experienced pass catchers for the rookie quarterback, and I think that's all you need.
Yeah, I agree.
That's actually a great way to look at it. CJ Stroud is more. I mean, I'm looking at it like
I think it's gonna be Stroud.
if they don't, I think I've said it before and over and over. I like Bryce the most, but you get the most foolproof per se with CJ, especially with what he showed us he can do against Georgia. The more and more I watch that again, I'm like, yeah, he is. Him and Justin basically though. I mean, Justin had certain skills he doesn't necessarily have, and vice versa. But like, they are the two most talented Ohio State quarterbacks I've ever seen, and he's going to come out slinging it. He can throw hash to hash. So yeah, low key, CJ Stroud tossing Adam Thielen and the boys.
Yeah. So, what are you saying for them?
I think I'm cool giving them I think they're in B- territory.
I was gonna say B. We can go B-.
B. Let's go B. Gave him
sure?
Good old line. You get Miles in there.
I think
I
Von
like
Bell's
it.
not
They
terrible
bolstered the offense enough that we'll give them a B.
either. All right, you're gonna double up.
I'm good if you want to take this one. You're like the non-biased review, you know?
I feel like we need the bias though. To be honest,
All right.
we gave Hunter the Bears.
But he wasn't even biased, honestly.
I thought I was pretty fair.
You were. I was just saying, like,
yeah.
I'm going to be fair here. I'm going to be very fair. If it was a lot of other years, I would have necessarily loved the Derek Carr signing. However, given the situation the NFC's in right now and the type of fit Derek Carr is, I do like it a lot for us. It pretty much does tie us in for like almost all of his. I mean, we really kind of have to commit to him for at least 3-4 years. But at least it gives us a vision where we know what we got to commit to. We know where we're going to go. Jameis, love re-signing Jameis. Great for the culture. Love that. It's awesome. Loved the Jamal move. Pretty big. Getting Michael Thomas to cut down the salary and replay with us, I thought was really nice. Love Juwan Johnson, super underrated. Love to get him back on a 3-year deal. I love Tanoa Passanio. He's probably not someone a lot of people that aren't Saints fans would necessarily know or follow. But big, tall edge rusher, good against the run. Very solid against the pass. And then the big move that caught my eye, though, that nobody really talked about was we signed Kalen Saunders from the Chiefs to a 3-year deal worth up to $14.5 million. That's definitely our Onyemata replacement. Big guy in the middle. Love that. Nathan Shepard too. I'm sure with Hump, we gave him a $15 million contract. That's the Malcolm Roach replacement. Our 2 new interior D linemen. I'll see how I feel about them when they start playing. I did like the Lonnie Johnson signing and the Jonathan Abram though. Nice guys for us in the box, kind of playing that Chauncey role. Definitely like that. And then we needed JT Greenback, our special teams ace. Love that. Maybe paid him a little more than I like, but he's only guaranteed $2.4 million on it if he plays bad. Our punter Blake Gillikin was re-signing him's a bit shaky just because he had a really shaky year last year. He was like he had like an all-pro year almost the year before it, and then this last year was like very shaky. He had a couple very bad punts in very important situations. We gave him another chance though. All in all, I'd say I give the Saints off season a B. I think we got better. We didn't necessarily have like the home run, but Derek Carr's about as close. Derek Carr is the maybe home run. We need to. The umps are reviewing it. They're taking a look to see if it hit the yellow line. Derek Carr could be a home run though. So with that said, I'm gonna look at it from a culture standpoint, how he could fit. So I'm looking at it. I think I'm gonna give us a B.
I like Carr. I'm probably higher on him than most people are, but I mean, he gives you a chance to win the division.
No, yeah. I mean,
that division's not good.
With how weak the NFC is,
Yeah.
it's like it would be a very slim chance. But he actually gives us a chance
You think it's a slim chance
to win the conference because of how bad
the conference?
That's the thing. Is the
Okay,
Saints,
okay,
the Saints as a whole. Like I said, I don't think the Saints even last year were that bad. There was just a lot of things going on with injuries, and Andy Dalton's just not. He's not going to win you playoff games. He's not.
No.
So it's like, we were just going through the motions. Obviously, I think the Saints would have like a 5% chance next year, but it's like at least he gives you that chance to get back.
But I think as far as like division goes, I think a really good chance. I mean, is he?
That's what I'm exactly. Gives us a really good chance
He's the
to win
best
the
quarterback
division.
in the division.
It's the Saints
He
or
is.
the Falcons, and no one's winning a shootout.
If Lamar
If
gets,
it's
if the Falcons get Lamar though, I'll say though, there's no doubt the Falcons have the best future at that point
Yeah,
of the NFC South teams.
Yeah.
So it's almost contingent on what Lamar does because
Yeah.
that feels very possible, which sucks. Another bird team.
I'm cool with, would you say B?
I like B.
I'm cool with a B. All right, Buccaneers.
Oof.
Should we just say it?
Let Baker bake.
Yeah, just tell
I'll say
them how
like
it is.
I'll just say like D minus.
Like
Are you gonna say F?
no, D minus is perfect. I think re-signing Levante David was brings them over the edge. Baker too. I think
Baker
we like
too.
Baker in
Baker
that
too.
spot. But
Why
like,
not? I
other
mean,
than
what
that-
else were you gonna do?
I mean, Tom elevated that
Kyle
team
Trask?
so much.
Yeah, true.
It's like no.
You weren't gonna roll out Kyle Trask, like.
They really were talking about doing that. That's the funny part. And actually, I'm going to say it. I'll say it on record right now. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow, because we know Baker. Baker's just at this point is like inconsistency king. I can see the news breaking like Trask beat the man out for starting job. We're like, what?
I could see it too.
I honestly feel like they brought him in for competition.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
honestly.
they just want to see if Trask can beat. Like to me,
They spoke highly of Trask.
I think about it. He played under Brady for what, 2 years?
And he's playing it. He literally is playing at home, basically. No pressure on him. He's literally still at home.
Trask went to Stanford.
No, he
right?
went to Florida.
Florida.
That's what's crazy about
Oh, what am I,
Gators.
who am I thinking of? Mills. I don't know why. They're in the same class, right?
No, yeah. So I don't
have
blame
no
you.
idea. I
I
can't
don't blame
remember.
you for mixing them up, though. I see why you mix them up. I do believe they were same class. Yeah. So yeah, we'll go D minus.
Okay. Arizona Cardinals.
They're such a joke.
That like let's we're gonna say it again. I'm not even gonna hesitate. That's a D. It's a D.
Yeah,
It's a D.
I mean-
It's not enough. It's a D. They did barely enough. I do like the Kaiser White move.
I was gonna say Kaiser White's like the only one that stands out to me.
No, yeah, actually, it is the only one.
Yeah, like the only one.
Like Will Hernandez, cool, I guess. If he plays up to what he's also so inconsistent. Will Hernandez is just an inconsistent lineman. Zach Pascal, cool. Good possession receiver for Kyler, but like
You mean Colt McCoy?
literally, yeah, it's like that. The Cardinals are really in that position where you're like, who the well, I mean, actually, it's the point. Actually, the guy who's calling the shots stepped down, but it's who was calling the shots here. Like, it's like, what in the world is going on? It's literally like a fourth grader stepped into the fucking facility and was just calling shots for the year. And then
This is why I would trade to third pick because you're probably going to be in the top 5 next year anyway. This
The
might be
year
one of the
after this.
worst rosters in the NFL.
Kyler is everyone. Look again. I don't like dislike Kyler, but if everyone in the media, everybody in the and your own teammates are going out saying you have growing up to do, you have growing up to do. I don't care if it's unprofessional. Like he shouldn't have said that in public. It doesn't matter. Clearly, it's the truth. And the reality is, until the Cardinals get that man to step up, like for the team, they won't elevate. And that's the reality of the situation. Everybody loves babying people nowadays. Everybody loves babying Kyler. It's the reality situation. Kyler Murray. Obviously, from the way a lot of people speak about him at the moment, just has more growing up to do. If that wasn't the case, people wouldn't be saying it. It's just the truth. I get it's unprofessional to say all that for these, but it's clearly is the problem, one of the many in Arizona. So yeah, this is a D off season, and that's Damian being generous. Actually, last thing I was gonna say, but Sean Payton didn't go to Arizona. basically everyone's saying because of Kyler, because of the Kyler contract. When he was asked about it, of course he said, no, that's not true. Well, yeah, he's not, what is he going to say? I don't like Kyler. I'm not going to coach him. You know, and he's not going to say that. It's unprofessional. But same concept. It's like this man, if we look at it from you would think Arizona would be the preferred destination, but it wasn't because of, so.
Yeah, I was just looking up who the new head coach was. I forgot it was one of the Eagles' assistants.
I thought it was a DC.
Yeah,
Jonathan Gannon.
That's the thing. And that's the thing.
I said
you
Eagles
took
assistant.
the DC
Yeah.
who literally just shat the bed in the biggest game.
Yeah, but that was
I shouldn't
one
have said
game.
assistant.
It was. But again, it's the same Matt Patricia effect. In Matt Patricia's, where he had his shit the bed against the Eagles and then he got signed that next year, we saw how that went. And I don't want to compare him to him, but sometimes it'd be like that. Like sometimes, you were elevated by the coaches on the roster and the players on the roster. And when you had that bad game and it exposed you, they didn't take it with enough salt. You know what I mean? But yeah, so.
Has anyone heard from Cliff Kingsbury?
I heard that last thing I had heard.
Because wasn't he in like Indonesia or something?
You're about to be
Thailand.
shocked. But I had heard, I'm not kidding, you can look this up. I know he was like doing an interview with the Patriots about some type of like offensive assistant position.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that actually probably sounds perfect to him. Like, give me a good culture. I'm not actually going to deal with anybody, but I'll still give you some tidbits because I know offense. It sounds like a good Cliff situation. So are we? Is it me for the Rams now, or is it, I think I gave them a D. So I think it's on to you now to the Rams.
I mean,
There's there is literally nothing.
This was the least amount of moves that we've seen so far. Well, I mean, we're almost done, but
Can you give a team an F-?
we can.
They're F-. They are officially, they broke the, they undervalued one of the better, I can't say best anymore, one of the better defenders in the league.
Yeah.
And they did literally nothing else. I'm sorry, Rams fans. At least you guys got the ring. That, you look back on that for the next,
All 8 Rams fans.
like they can look back on
Dude,
that one. It's cool.
I just I mean, it's worth it, but it just sucks.
This is what, but like, think about like who's actually watching the Rams in Los Angeles. Like, that's all the NFL needed to like get the revenue going. Like, they
That's
needed
true.
the ring, and it's like, well, we got it.
Yeah.
It's just like this is what everyone's been talking about. This is what happens when you get rid of all those picks
Yep.
and get all those players.
They thought they were on one, and it rightfully so. They won a Super Bowl, but it's just like, okay, 2 years later, you're in a terrible spot
But
with your roster.
I'm willing
and
to bet,
there's
like-
no hope. Like, what are they gonna do?
That's the problem from a monetary standpoint. What were you going to say first?
I'm just saying, like, the average NFL fan probably looks at that Super Bowl and is like, okay, but like,
Okay, so I
Who
brought this up on
cares?
an episode like ages ago, and I was like, is it worth it? And like, obviously you want to win a Super Bowl, but to me, you want to win a Super Bowl and then like the Chiefs. That's like,
it feels like when the Lakers won it in the bubble.
yeah.
That's what it feels like.
No, well, I was going to say, I think the real problem is not even like, does it matter? Like, do we still enjoy it as fans? Like, does it matter to us? The real thing, like how I look at it, that makes it interesting is it's like, it doesn't matter to the organization. Like, if the Rams won their ring, like, they got it. Okay, that's cool. The revenue was made back then that year. But it's like, then the years afterwards where you got to fill the stadium and then you got to sell merchandise and you got to sell food in the stadium. When no one's showing up for that, you're going under. Literally, that ring is not going to buy back the franchise if you're losing money. So it's like, from a pure business standpoint, you really can't afford to be good every decade or so and then just suck afterwards because nobody shows up when you suck. Look at the Bulls. We had the greatest franchise for a decade and a half, and no one shows. Like, we're not showing up. Are you guys excited to go to Bulls games now?
I don't
Are you
know.
guys-
The Lions have
okay,
sucked
I
for
was-
a long time,
I was at
and people showed up.
But that's because they're just so loyal down there. That's like,
Yeah.
that's just Michigan like Lions loyalty.
Yeah, the Rams are unique because they moved.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like, that's the thing, is there's no loyalty there.
All right, yeah, F. Niners.
Niners. The Niners had a great offseason, right?
Yeah.
I think the
Darnold.
Niners had an A.
Farrell, I think, is an all right signing. It was for like essentially nothing. Hargrave, I love.
Feliciano, I like. He's one of those guys where he didn't like wasn't playing great the past few years, but you put him in the Niners offense, I think he'll step in and upgrade. Like, if he's gonna have one of the better years of his career.
This is kind of a weird signing. Not weird. I just like don't know how to feel about it. Gibson, I think, is all right. They lost Jimmy Ward, but I think Gibson is surrounded by a good defense. He's old now, but he could play fine.
No, he'll step in and fill that role.
Um,
And Sam is your backup? Is your third string?
potential starter.
That's a great move. Are you kidding? Like you had the guy that was the 3rd overall prospect in the draft 6 years ago. You're like, yeah, give me him as my 3rd string. That's a power move.
But like, say injuries happen again, I think Darnold could play very well in this offense.
I was gonna say, like
he could play good enough to win playoff games.
He's like, Kyle's like, let me bring you back to the college days, buddy.
Yeah.
You were over here having to read 5-man, 5 reads and stuff. We're gonna bring you back to the 2-3. Just sling that thing where it needs to be. It's exactly what he needs.
He's never been in a situation like that before. He's on the Jets and Panthers. Like
he had literally no stability. Those are like zero stability. Like those are like college joke situations.
I hate Sam Darnold, and I think he could be great here. Not great, but like he could play fine.
Can win games. There's no doubt.
What are we gonna say?
I think I got to give him an A.
Okay.
Hargrave pushes it. Hargrave was almost the splash of like this year's free agency. Going to the Niners, I mean, that's a splash.
Well, yeah, he's gonna play great there too. So,
yeah, no, it was a great spot for him. Our last team.
Seattle. I thought they had a good offseason.
Low key, but loved it.
Well, getting Bobby recently too. I think Geno on that deal. Why not? You're not in a position to get a quarterback, so
maybe.
That's true.
I could, if Richardson slides to them, I think it would be a great spot.
I think that if we were to get in their draft,
I just mean like where they're at 5. It's like,
what if they trade up to 3 though?
Then yeah, sure.
That's probably not even much to jump.
Oh,
3 to 5?
I think so.
How much would you give up? How much?
Bears gave up a lot to go from 3 to 2.
That's also.
Yeah,
Ryan Pace. That's not.
But I think it is. Personally,
it'd be more. It would be a lot for the move.
Okay,
probably like a couple second rounders and a 3rd and then that 1st, like something like that.
It also depends on who's bidding.
That's true.
At least a couple 3rds.
Well, because my thing is like, if you go from 3 to 5, you still have your pick. If you think the Colts are taking a quarterback, you have Will Anderson right there.
Yeah.
Rich is the spot for Seattle. Like if Seattle could take a guy and just be like, you're going to sit for 2 years behind Geno, Rich is the perfect guy for that style.
The reason why I said that they're not in a position to is because it's like, to me, it's like if you're not getting Bryce or CJ, like, would you take Richardson over Geno? Would you take Will Levis over Geno? One of those
Jordan Love type guys where it's like you give him 2 years to sit and then you bring him out. He could look like how CJ looked.
The only thing is they have the capital too from the Russ trade.
Yeah, that is true. Anyways, I think Draymond Jones is a good signing too. Julian Love, I actually thought was kind of an underrated signing. He hasn't played like fantastic, but I think he's all right. He
was a rock solid signing. That's what I was thinking too.
I don't know.
They're in that like C+. I
was gonna say B-.
I like B-.
C+, yeah.
B- I like.
All right, cool.
Let's go.
I think I was shocked. We were like you just said. I said B-, you said C+. I feel like that's how we were with all of them.
Yeah, no, it was
like we were right there.
We had a vision in place. Stayed in the same range. We gave these teams a report card. All 32 teams.
Yeah.
Who was our A's? Who was our A's? Let's just get a quick check.
The A's. So the A's, I have the Cowboys, the Jets, the Browns were A-, the Falcons were A-, the 49ers were an A, and the Broncos were an A.
Okay, those were the killer off seasons right there. Everyone else.
And then
a little more they could have done.
I'll do the lows. So Commanders D-, Ravens F, Bucks D-, Colts D, Cardinals D, Rams F-, and Chargers D.
Yeah, the Rams with the all-time just shit fest of an offseason.
But you could also look at it like they're trying to cleanse their team right now.
Yeah, and it's also hard to gauge too because it's like some of those teams maybe. Some of them definitely need to make some moves and just didn't. But some also are, it's like they already had a good roster. But I think we kind of factor that in.
I think we did. I think the Rams just like literally have done. That's the thing is if the Rams were like releasing more players and stuff like that, I'd be like, I kind of get it. But it's like, now I'm kind of like, I don't know. The Rams are just. Because here's the thing. The fact that you're keeping Aaron Donald is exactly why it's an F. Because if you were all in on the rebuild, get that man out the door. But y'all are holding on to the greatest defender or top 3 defender of all time. And what are you doing with him? Because you're not winning with him anymore. And you could actually get a ton for him. What are you doing? I don't know. Call me crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I saw stuff about maybe getting rid of Stafford too, but it's like there's no market for him because no one's going to trade for him, given his injury history and stuff.
And you're keeping Cooper Kupp. He's like, what, going to be 31 off at injury?
Exactly. Yeah. They're keeping the greatest players they've ever had on the franchise, and it's like, get rid of them now. If you're getting rid of everyone, you clearly
the LA franchise, right?
Exactly. They are the greatest LA Rams ever. I mean, seriously, like if they are, right?
I think they had some good teams back in the day.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. The new era LA
this
Rams.
Iteration,
this iteration, the non-St. Louis iteration of this LA Rams. They're the greatest LA Rams. Era. Yeah, they're the greatest LA Rams ever of this era.
Which is so weird to me why Sean McVay stuck around.
Yeah. That's exactly why they're getting an F. You're literally just making me think of more and more things. Like, they have all of the great pieces they would need to make the run, but then it's like you're holding on to all these guys that are holding them back. Also holding yourself back. It just doesn't make any sense.
How many years of dominance do Donald and Kupp really have left in the tank?
That's the thing. How many more years would you be able to get maybe a late first round pick for Donald? I don't know how. That's the point. This year, I'm sure you would. So you might as well get him out the door while you still could.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the market for Donald would look like, considering he was planning on retiring, though. That's kind of one of the things that makes it tough.
No, he said he didn't want to play for another team, I think.
Yeah. I don't blame him, though. I guess that's his home. Just home now. Like, it's kind of like I'll play if I'm at home, but if not, fuck that. I'm not going to move, bring my kids start school somewhere else. All the things that go with it. Like,
bro, I did not know that Jerome Bettis was on the Rams.
I did not know that either. Was it like a late year?
No.
It was like when he started?
Very beginning of his career.
No, actually, I did know this and I forgot it because I was looking at his career stats like last year. So, I totally would have forgot that though.
His first 3 years. That's crazy.
I'll tell you this, he definitely did not mess up signing with the Steelers.
Also, real quick, I thought Eric Dickerson played way longer than just like 4 or 5 years.
Dude, some of the greatest running backs ever.
He was only on I think everyone knows him from the Rams, and he was only on the Rams for 4 years.
That's interesting. It's like Earl Campbell, too. I didn't know Earl Campbell was only dominant for like 6 seasons, like until the other day. I was like, swear.
Well, he played from 83 to 93.
Yeah, but like to me, when you think of Eric Dickerson, you think Rams, right?
Yeah, he was Rams, Colts, Raiders, Falcons.
That's the thing is I only think of Rams.
Yeah, and he was only there for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Granted, he ran for 1,800, 2,100, 1,200, 1,800, 1,200. So, I mean, his best years were in the Rams, but
yeah.
Running backs are the weird only position where their best years of their career generally are going to be like the first 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
All right. Well, the report cards are out. Some teams did better than others, so it had to be that way, obviously. And I think we did pretty good. Pretty proud of our report card.